Welcome back to another video. In this video we are gonna make a weather application in which we are gonna display some weather. um, we're gonna make this with the pure JavaScript. We're not gonna use any jQuery or Bootstrap framework like that, and we're gonna use an API, OpenWeather API also. And to make a design, I would go to UI design daily to grab some design for making. So I would go to this website and search for weather. We're gonna use this one, and I will try to convert this design into HTML CSS. So they have the color palette for us, and let's start. We're gonna focus on first HTML CSS, and then we're gonna move to our JavaScript part. So let's first convert this design into HTML CSS, and then we will um, display the actual weather through JavaScript. Let's start. So for the body, so we need two more files. I have some icons over here. I'm gonna provide the link to this repository in the description down below. So let's start. We need two more files. One is going to be index file, and one is going to be style.css, and one is going to be script.js file. That is going to be for our JavaScript file, and I'm going to link those files. CSS file is already linked over here. I'm going to link my script file over here, script.js. Okay, and here we are in the body, and we need to, for the body background color, I'm gonna use, they are using some image. We're not gonna use that, but I'm gonna use some background color. So I'm gonna go to my styles, CSS. I'm gonna use body and say background color, whatever that color was. And I'm gonna say one more thing, box sizing to be border box to make it responsive. And for the other thing, I'm gonna say margin of 0, padding 0 to remove the default margin and padding. And for the background color, it should be like this. And if I go to my browser, so background is applied over here. Okay, so to make this, I'm gonna go to my, so I'm gonna say weather container, and for the header, another div weather header. Inside of that, the weather header would go. Okay, and then inside of that is gonna be a p tag, and there's gonna be some each2. Okay, and so I'm gonna say p and each2, put in the random text for now, Thursday 10:40, and then we're gonna change that later, 10:40 p.m. and that is gonna be so it is like this. Now it's over here, not looking good. To make the text visible, we're gonna for now say color FFF white, so we can really see. Okay, so this is white over here, and then this is our header, and that's it for the header. And then we're gonna move to div the weather body. Inside of the body, we have actually, on the left side we have image, on the right side we have the temperature, then this div and this div for the 5 days. Okay, left div is gonna be for weather temp icon, and inside of that an image would go. By default I'm gonna show cloud svg, the first one, and if the image doesn't load for some reason, or it should be cloud. And what is on the right side is that should be weather temp. First is gonna be weather temp value, that is gonna be 9 for now, and then another div weather temp. Actually this should be main, and inside of that weather temp value, and inside of that 9 would go, and then after that weather temp my year, and inside of that would go in a p tag that would say, let me grab the degrees. So let me grab this degree. Okay, degree Celsius or degree Fahrenheit, and there should be a space, and after that there should be a PR that would line break, and then we will say min 3 degree Celsius. Okay, so we did that. So where is that gone? Okay, so the image is over here and it is over here. Okay, after this div which is displaying the weather temperature, okay, and this should be another div with the weather pressure, humidity, weather values. The first is gonna be the weather atmosphere, weather pressure. Okay, weather pressure, and that should be 93%, and then we need weather humidity, and that should be 5 kilometers per hour, and the third should be weather wind, and it should be 0%. So if we look at this now, all of them are here, and this is a big icon, we need to fix that. And then after that we have only thing left is these 5. Another div like over here, weather footer, that would go in the footer forecast, and this should be weather forecast day 1, weather forecast D1, and inside of that the first thing should be the Friday, Saturday, or the name of that thing, which is gonna go inside of each 4, I believe, each 3 Friday. And then after that we would have an image that would be icons slash, let's choose snow for now, snow, and The last thing is the temperature that is gonna go inside of the p tag. I'm gonna say 15 degrees. Just do that. Copy from here degrees 15 degrees / degrees 4 or 4 degree. Okay, and if we look at this now, so they are looking like this. It is very ugly looking. We're gonna style this when we will move to our CSS. I'm gonna paste this 2, 3, 4 and 5 times. Okay, because we need 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, and if we, yes, that's it for I think HTML. If we needed more stuff, we will move back to this. That's it for HTML. And now it's time to move into our CSS. First things first is gonna be, by default every color should be white. I'm gonna keep it as it. To make it to the center, to make it everything to the center, I would say display flex, justify content to be center, align items to be center, and everything is now centered. To make it so this is vertically centered, to make it horizontally centered, I would say min height to be 100, viewable height. Okay, so if we, now it's from here, but if there is, it's only like if it has a height of only like from here to here like 600 pixels, so it's gonna vertically aligned as well, centered aligned as well. Okay, and font size is gonna be, I think we're gonna choose 18 pixels. Container, this color should be weather container, and its background color should be the weather container. This whole is a weather container and its background color should be this one, background color this. Okay, and then we're gonna do, so that's the color applied. And this next thing is to style the header. I'm gonna style the header, weather header, so it is looking like this. To make to the centered line, we're gonna say text line to be centered. Okay, and background color should be, I think this one, or maybe this one. What is that? This one. Okay, so that is our header. Margin from top should be 10 pixels. Okay, 10 pixels of spacing, maybe 15 pixels. Yes, 15 pixels is okay. And we're gonna choose a font family from the Google Fonts. I'm gonna use fonts.google.com. I'm gonna choose a Roboto for our project. I don't know which font family they are using, they didn't mention over here, so I'm gonna use a Roboto. Roboto, this one. I'm gonna select the regular one, and I'm gonna select the bold 700, and let me select the, yeah, I think I'm gonna stick with these two, and click on this import, copy this, and paste it over at the top of your css file, and it's gonna be ready to use. And you need to specify over here the font family should be the Roboto. That is the thing they give you over here as well, so you can copy this from here as well. Or I'm gonna add in a space in between them. Okay, 10:40 p.m. and after that I'm gonna say let's fix our image weather temp icon, and I'm gonna target the image inside of that. I'm gonna say 100% of width and 100% of height the image has. Okay, and now it's taking 100% of width and height, but now we need to say that this div should have width of maybe height of 200 pixels for now. Okay, so the image is looking better now. Okay, but instead of doing that, I'm gonna, because we need the contents to be side by side, we're gonna say I'm gonna say for that weather body. Okay, we're gonna target our weather body and display flags to get them side by side. So now they are side by side. Let me move this height of 200 pixels. Okay, now they are side by side, but I cannot see my image. To get the image, we need to specify the weather container that it has a width of some pixels, 500 pixels. Specify the width. Weather container has a width of 500 pixels. It's not still visible. I'm gonna say width to be 100%. Still not visible. Let's inspect this. So refresh this. So this is in the temp mean. So that is our weather icon. So weather body display flags. Actually the issue is weather forecast should be outside. So because when I give it a flags, this item is side by side, this item is side by side, and weather forecast is also side by side. So I need to move this one out of that. Okay, so that is not issue with actually the CSS, but it's actually the issue with, I think, with HTML. If we do this, okay, perfect, we are now able to see it. Instead of giving a space in between, I'm gonna say space to be around, so we get space from around. Okay, perfect. Margin from top should be 20 pixels, or maybe more, 30, 40 pixels is good. Okay, there is still more space. I think I would go with space evenly, and now it's perfect. They are evenly spaced. Now let's fix this part, and then we will move to our 5-day forecast. Now we are inside of the weather temp. We need to save weather temp. Weather temp, and it should be displayed to be flags to get them side by side. Display to be flags. So now they are side by side, but it is not still side by side. Actually, the weather temp main should be also flags. So let's see weather temp main if that fixes the issue. And the first one is, I think it shouldn't be flags, or if this is a flags extraction to be column wise like that, not to this one but to this one. Flex direction, okay, 9 degrees centigrade, and we got that 9 degrees centigrade of and now to get them side by side, let's actually target that one, these weather values, and these should be flags as well. To display flags, so they are flags as well. To get their background color, I'm gonna choose this one, or maybe this one. Let's choose the darker one that we choose for our body background, and background color should be this one. And the other thing is, let's increase their height. Height should be 100 pixels, and justify content to be center, line items to be center, and it's over here. Let me make this to for 50 pixels maybe, and margin from top should be on 20 pixels, maybe 10 pixels. Maybe 20 would look okay. And there should be a spacing in between, okay, from all the sides. And I'm gonna say weather values, every div should have a padding from all the sides 5 pixels, okay, or maybe more than that. Let's say 10 pixels from all the sides, and it's looking much better. And let's style this part a little bit, increase their let's copy this, and let's increase its fonts weight and style. I'm gonna say, what is that, weather temp value, and it should be inside of each one. 9 weather temp value, weather temp actual value, and let me copy this, and it's bolder now. And I would style this weather over here dot, I'm gonna say font weight to be bold, font size should be on 30 pixels, line height to be theorem, and let's increase it more, 80 is looking nice. Margin, actually the padding from top should be 20 pixels to make it to the to make it down, and margin from right to be 10 pixels. Was over here looking much better. Let me increase this font weight a little more, 100 pixels, and it's like that. And margin from bottom should be 50 pixels as well. Margin from top 20 pixels. $30 would work. And margin from bottom should be 30 as well over here. Perfect. Looking much better. And degree of F, it should be this color. I'm gonna say for the F, let me go to here and span this element. Give it a class. And inside of that, it would go like that. And let me copy that again because it is removed from my clipboard. Go over here, Fahrenheit value, color should be this dot Fahrenheit value, and it is this color. You see, it is this color. You can apply like more styling to it, make it a little bit bolder and stuff like that. I'm gonna move to next section, which is this, and this should be a margin padding from top and bottom as well over here. Weather header padding from top and bottom to be 10 pixels, from left and right 0. So there is a spacing of that as well. And now we need to move to this section, which is weather forecast. Weather forecast. I'm gonna go over here, weather forecast, display of flux, like that. Now they are side by side. So I'm gonna target all of the images inside of that. It should be weather forecast day 2, day 3, day 4, day 5, weather forecast, and the images inside of that. Say height to be 20 pixels. Let's see if it works. Yes, it works. Yes, it works. Go with the 30 pixels. And like that. And display to be flags, and justify content to be spaced evenly. They are now spaced evenly. And every div inside of that should have some background color. Okay, so I'm gonna say weather forecast div, weather forecast The background color should be this this one. Background color should be this. Or maybe, yeah, this color. Okay, so let's increase the width a little. What we can do for that is justify content to be spacing the align items to be center, and text align to be center, so it is aligned to the center. And to increase its width, I'm gonna say width to be 80 pixels, like that, or maybe 90 pixels, like that. And now we can really apply the spacing in between these, and that's it for this. And we can say the h3 that is in weather forecast h3 margin from bottom to be 10 pixels to get in the really spacing. And one more thing, padding from top 5 pixels, and much better now. And now we can say weather forecast the p element as well, padding margin from bottom, padding from bottom to be 5 pixels, and padding margin from top should be 5 pixels as well. And that's it, looking cleaner, much like this one. Not exactly this, but we get really closer to that one. And now it's time to move to our JavaScript to really convert this design into the actual values, the like dynamic values, whichever the my current location is, and change these values to that values. Okay, it's time to work on the JavaScript. We already linked our JavaScript file to for the weather to work. We need to go to OpenWeather API. We're gonna use their website, and we're gonna get our API key from this website and fetch our weather from this website. I already have one. You need to create your account, and you can then get your API key, and I'm gonna sign in, enter my email password, and I would go to my API keys. You need to go, when you create your account, you need to go over here, and then you need to like generate your API key. My API key is this, and you need to create your own. When I finish this, I'm gonna like disable this one. You need to create your own, and it's not gonna work for you. Okay, I'm gonna copy this and paste it over here. Let API key, I'm gonna store that in a variable. so that I can use that later. So here it is my API key, and to get our weather, we need to go to their current weather. Where is our current weather? Let me search for that current weather. Just go over here, directly to this link, openweathermap.org, and current, allow all. So to search by to get the weather for my current city where I am living, we need to either put in the city name. We're not gonna do that with the city name, not gonna do manually. We're gonna do is actually get by latitude and longitude. So how can I get my latitude and longitude where I am living? To get that, we need to do one more thing, navigator dot geolocation mdn. So this is navigator dot geolocation is a built-in web API that is already in the browser. It's provided by the mdn. So you can go here, navigator dot geolocation, which helps you to get your current location. So you would go to this page, and this navigator dot geolocation read only returns a geolocation object that gives a web content access. So when you do this, and this gives you a prompt, and when you click on that, yes, this gives you your current geolocation. Okay, so to get there, like DOM navigator, let's go to the API, and here we can read their documentation about that. To get a current position, I'm gonna click on this one and just paste that over here, copy that and paste that over here. So there are I'm gonna use the current position. So you can do other things like watch a positions, like watch the user's current position. Whenever he changes his position, you can get his real-time position, and then you can stop watching position if you want to, like stop by adding a button, and you can do handling errors and stuff like that. You can check out. We're gonna use only the first one to get the current position. Okay, to get my position. Okay, so I'm gonna paste that code over here, navigator dot geolocation. So let me first console log that thing, and then I'm gonna do that console log navigator, and I'm gonna go to my Firefox and refresh that. Pressing Ctrl Shift I to open the developer tools, go to console. I console that, and if you expand it, that you see the navigator object. It's an object with a lot of functions are attached to it. So if I expand this, so it gives me this navigator actually gives me like my device identity and where I am living, stuff like that. So I'm using Mozilla, Netscape, which is the app name, web version, build name, Windows, everything like they give you. And then they have something called navigator.geolocation. Where is that geolocation? Over here. So this geolocation is an object which has some other functions like get current position, watch position, which I showed you right over here. Okay, I really see them. And if we expand this, get current position, so this has a one parameter. Okay, so let me close this now and uncomment this one. And navigator.geolocation.current position accepts one parameter that I showed you right now, and that parameter would give us like chords, and we need to get so these contains latitude and longitude, which we will extract them into some variables. So if I console log my latitude and longitude, it should give me. So now if I go to this, it's prompting me to access your location. When I allow this, it should give me my latitude and longitude. So here my latitude and longitude is. I'm living in Molten, so let's check it with Google that if I am getting the right one. Molten chords. So here it is. The molten coordinates are latitude is 30 and longitude is 71. That is what we are getting. So for your location it might be different, and for my location I'm getting these. And now that I got these latitude and longitude, and I can get my weather for that latitude and longitude by calling this API, because I already made my API key, and I can do is, instead of that, I'm going to do is get weather, and inside of that I'm going to pass in latitude and longitude. In this function I'm going to write my code function get weather, latitude and longitude. If I spell them right, let me paste that over here, and then latitude and longitude. Okay, so this one is actually that API URL is equal to this one. Let me close that into template literals. So it should be HTTPS to make it a URL. And for the latitude, it should not be just latitude but the $sign, whatever the latitude we pass latitude, and for the longitude we should use whatever we pass instead of their $longitude. And app ID is equal to app API key, which should be we already defined over here, so we're going to use that $API key, and let's fetch this. So now fetch API URL, whatever. If it fetches, then we're gonna do we're gonna do what on that response console log response, like that. Let's check if it works. Allow getting my current weather, latitude and longitude, we got that, and now we got the response. The status is okay, we're getting the right response. Instead of just console logging that thing, we're gonna return that response into the JSON format so that it can be readable. Okay, and then we're gonna do is start then apply and other data. So take another variable, take another parameter data which will hold the JSON formatted data, and let's console log data. Let's see if we get that, and let me beautify file this as well, and let's see, allow we get 30, and if I expand this, we get the weather for my current location. You see, we get the clouds information, we get the quartz information, the quartz is right, the name is molten, and everything that we needed, we got that. And the pressure is this, temperature is this, maximum temperature is this, minimum temperature is this, everything that we needed, we got that. And time zone, everything, the country is Pakistan, and we got the weather information, mist. Okay, now that we got the information, we need to place that information onto whatever the our HTML file is, right? So for that, and this dt is actually the date and the time when we captured our data. To like really read about what these show, so you can go over here to the documentation, and you would say to check what everything says, okay, like that. So it's like simple data example of API response, so you can really read. So chords at long would give you city geolocation, weather is like weather id, weather condition id, weather dot main is showing group weather parameters, rain, snow, extreme, okay, like that. Every main dot pressure, atmospheric pressure, temperature, accounts, and unit default is Kelvin, so we need to convert that into degrees as well, like stuff like that, clouds or rain, and dt, time of data calculation, Unix UTC. So let's show that onto our HTML files. We got the data, and what we're gonna do is, instead of that, we're gonna show weather and pass that data to that function. What is wrong with this? Like that, beautify file and show weather function. Let me make that function over here, show weather, whatever the data is, and here we will show our data. And let's give this an ID of name, city name, okay, city name. Let's do one thing, and then we will do everything fastly. Let city name is equal to document.getElement by id, so we can target that element into our HTML through DOM document.getElement by id city name. And if I console log our city name over here, console log city name, do I get that element, I get that issue element, and I can change its content through this. So our data is let me allow that, allow that, so long dot data, so we will extract that data and show to that element. Data dot name, actually I think the data dot name would work. City name dot inner HTML is gonna be whatever the data has name. So because dot data dot name is showing the city name. Okay, let's check. Okay, we got that. Perfect. If we got that one thing working, we can change the others as well. And so let's target our ID, time, city, time, weather time. Let's name it weather time. Let weather time is equal to document dot get element by id weather time. We got that. And let's actually split them into, this should be span id of weather time, this should be inside 1040, and this should be span id of day, weather day, let weather day is equal to document dot get element by id weather day. So if we console log our data, it would show us some information through which we can get our date and time as well, day and time. So we expand this. dt is actually the showing the date for which the weather was fetched. If we go over here, time of data calculation. Okay, so we can use this information .dt to get the actual, to display that date and day name. Okay, so we're gonna do is getting the time for the weather. I'm gonna say let time is equal to new date, which is gonna create a new date, but we're not gonna create a new date from the start, but we're gonna use that get the date which we have for the weather, data.dt, and multiply that with 1000, which would give us the current, which would give us the date for what the data was fetched. Let time console log time. If I console log that time, allow this, you will see I got the date and time for that, and now I can do some operations to really display them over here. Okay, so I'm gonna say let hours is equal to time to get hours. So you see there are a lot of operations: get date, get day, get full years, get hours, minutes, months, everything you can get from that. So I'm gonna get hours for now, then we're gonna get let minutes. To make it a little format, let minutes is equal to 0 plus time dot get minutes, and then let seconds is gonna be 0 plus time dot get seconds, and let formatted time is gonna be hours plus colon then plus minutes dot substring into -2 plus seconds dot substring -2, and that's it, which would give us a nice formatted time, and we can display that formatted time to our weather time. So weather time dot inner HTML is gonna be whatever our formatted time is. Weather dot inner HTML is gonna be actually the formatted time. Let's see. Allow, and let me remove the spaces in between, over here as well, over here as well. And then for the day we're gonna use let day is equal to, actually I'm gonna put that over here, let day is equal to time, whatever the time is, to whatever the time is to date string dot split actually, first let me show you the date like that, and then I'm gonna do the next part. Console log day, so log day, so the day would look something like this, but I want to get only the its name, so I'm gonna like cut this thing out. Okay, so I'm gonna say to date string dot split and split by a space. Whenever the space comes in, split that thing and cut that thing, and we're gonna get only the first one. Okay, if the first one has a space, we're gonna keep that. Okay, so by doing that we will get only the day name. So let's display that also. Whether day dot inner HTML is equal to the day, whatever the day is. So if I allow this, it should now be working perfectly fine. Let me cut this 0. And if we use it like that, minutes or substring is not a function. Okay, we actually do not need even the seconds because seconds are not over here. So we can do is cut the seconds at the 0 to minutes plus actually, then the formatted time should be whatever the hours. What happened? Seconds, hours. Let me put it like that. Hours plus dollar minutes, like that. If we put it like this now, what happens? Okay, it should be over here. Okay, the time is working perfectly fine. Weather city name, actually city name, so that should be city name. Okay, our city name should be in our HTML is equal to data dot name, and now it should be working perfectly fine. The header section is done. Let's move to this. Okay, what's the current degree Celsius or Fahrenheit is? We're gonna get that from. So Kelvin to Celsius, whatever the temperature is, 273. Let me grab that. 284. Okay, 284. Convert that in Celsius is 10. Okay, we need to convert minus 273 from that. Okay, to get that into degrees. Okay, whatever the temp is, data dot main dot temp. Okay, data dot main dot temp. Okay, minus 273. Okay, let's put it to over here. It should be each one. Let's give it an ID of temp value. Let temp value is equal to document dot get element by ID, and to show that to our inner HTML, we're gonna say inner HTML dot data dot main dot temp minus 273 to get that into degrees. Allow that. It should be changed now. Okay, and to we do not want so much big thing, so we're gonna fix that to fixed to fixed 0. Okay, we're not gonna use the decimals numbers to fix. Let's see if that works. Yes, it works. So we're gonna go here, go to our weather, expand this, and check over here if that is mist, cloud, or anything else. So we will display our icon based on that. Okay, so we will go to, so if it is mist, we will show the mist icon. If it's cloudy, we will show the cloudy icon. If it's clouds, we will show the clouds. If it's rainy, we will show the rainy. Okay, so we're gonna say showing the weather icon based on weather information. Okay, so we already give this ID. So okay, so we're gonna say if data into 0, no, not 0, data dot weather into 0, that means the first data dot main is equal to clear let me comment this out for a second to check out the capitalization weather. Okay, mist. Okay, the first letter is capital. Mist, clear, and we're gonna say the image. We're gonna change the image source to cloud. Weather icon dot source. We're gonna change that source to new source, which is gonna be in our icons directory. Icons slash clear, or maybe for the clear we're gonna use the sun. In the clear we have sun, and I'm gonna use the same logic again, change the values. Else if else if else if else if else if. Okay, 5 times. Let's change that to is equal to, this time let's check for the clouds. If it's clouds, let's put the clouds. If it's cloud, let's put the cloud. If it's rain, let's put the rain. If it's snow, let's put the snow over here. If it's thunderstorm, we're gonna put the thunderstorm. We're gonna paste it one more time. Else if theta dot mean is equal to mist, or we're gonna say that clouds and sun, maybe, I don't know. We're gonna use clouds and sun. Clouds and sun for mist. Let's allow our icon changes. Beautiful. So it's the mist icon I think I data used for the clouds and sun. And the next thing we have to do is change these stuff. Let's grab them. Let's grab them. So this is gonna be the pressure, weather pressure, weather humidity. Let's grab this to weather wind. Let me copy all these. Do that quickly. Let copy paste this 2 more times. I need to change this to humidity. All this need to be changed to humidity. This needs to be changed to humidity. This needs to be changed to weather wind. This needs to be changed to weather wind. I got the elements, need to change the values, whatever the values from our source are. So we're gonna go again over here, check the values that we have in our object, and let me expand this. So clouds, not in the clouds but in the mean. Okay, so these are in the mean, so we can really do humidity, pressure, and feels like actually span only this thing 93. Add in the span element and put in the ID over here. So we don't target only the don't target the percentage, but only the 93. And so same stuff with this span. It should be 5 kilometers per hour. Over here 5 kilometers per hour. Weather should be actually it should be weather humidity. Over here weather humidity. Get this. Should be outside over here. And let me copy this one more time, paste it over here, and percentage. Let me command the control D, copy this, control D over here, paste over here, and like that. And then I'm gonna say over here weather pressure dot inner HTML is gonna be data dot mean dot pressure, whatever the pressure of that data is. And then we're gonna change the weather humidity dot inner HTML is equal to data dot mean dot humidity, when the last thing weather dot wind dot inner HTML data dot mean dot wind, like that. Let's check that, and we should be done with our header and body section. Actually this should be speed. Okay, weather dot mean dot speed. And now the last thing we need to do is this, our 5 days forecast. And this speed is actually inside of the wind, data dot wind dot speed. So speed is 0 actually. To get the 5 days forecast, we need to go to again this our weather API. We need to go for 5-day forecast. 5-day forecast weather OpenWeatherMap. And then I'm gonna go to 5-day this link and buy this. Now that we got our city name, we can directly pass this city name over here and get that thing, or we can use our latitude and longitude, whatever is good for you, or we can use that, or we can use city ID as well. That is also in our object as well. If you can see that we have ID, we have city name, we have latitude and longitude, we can use any one of them. I'm gonna stick with the city name for now. So over here let's pass show 5-day forecast. Inside of that I'm gonna pass data dot name, and let's make a new function. We will deal with our 5-day function, 5-day forecast, show 5-day forecast. This should be city name, and let me do is let city name let city name for 5 days, 5-day forecast is equal to data dot name. I'm gonna assign that to pass that over here, city name for 5-day forecast, and we're gonna say just city name over here. And let me check if we grab that correctly. Console log city name. Let's allow this. We got both, and we can pass that to our new URL that is gonna be API URL for this. Let API URL for 5-day forecast, and that should be this URL. Let's copy this, go here, change this to city name to dollar, and city name, and app ID should be whatever our app ID over there is. API key. Okay, now we can fetch this API key, API URL for forecast dot then whatever the response is, is equal to return response. Convert that into JSON. You do not need to write the return, just return it like that, return, and then print that JSON formatted text into data dot console data. Let's see, allow. If we allow this, do we get the data for that? We do not get that. It's because I didn't put the HTTPS forward slash over here. Let's do one more time. Yes, we get the returned back object for this also. We got in return an object which has an array list with the name of list, which has 40 objects in it. Okay, so if we expand the first one, that is for 31st December 2021. If we expand the second one, it's also for 31st. If I expand the 13, it is for 1 and 1. So I figured out so that if we go with the like third one, it should also be for the 31. So we do not need to loop for the first 5. So we need to loop over by jumping for every 5 or every 8. Okay, if we jump for every 8 list, then we get the date for the next day instead of getting the weather forecast for every day. If you know what I mean by that, is like I'm gonna show that. So I'm gonna iterate over that thing for let I is equal to 0. Then I'm gonna loop over that and get, let me name this get 5 days. Let me name this get 5 days. Let me show 5. Let me make that function show 5-day forecast, whatever the data is. So let me show you what I mean by that is, let's loop over, let I is equal to 0, I is less than whatever the data dot list dot length is, whatever the lat length is, I plus plus, and let me show you console log the date for every that data dot list into I dot dt underscore txt. So we actually displaying the date for that list. So let's allow that and wait for that. And you see, for the only for January we get 44444443333. So we need don't need to I plus plus, but we need to actually do something else. What we need to do is I is equal to I plus 8. So if we loop over every 8 times, then we get the date for every day, if that makes sense. So we get 31, 1, 2, 3 and 4. Perfect. So we get for that. And now we need to do is get that information and display over here. Just simple as that. If we expand this, we need to get its date just like we did over here. So to display the date, we're gonna say let date for forecast, and we're gonna say data dot list into I dot dt underscore txt, which would give us the date for that forecast, and let date is equal to pass into the new date, whatever that date is, date for forecast, and this would give us the date. And let's extract only the name of that date. Let t is equal to date dot date string dot sublet into with the spaces, and then get the first one. And let me show that. Okay, so now we have to design our final section, that is this 5 days forecast. Okay, and for that we are gonna do is worry. Okay, if I inspect this, we got our data, we got Saturday, Sunday, next 5 days, and now we have to do is we got the data, and now we have to replace them dynamically with our whatever the data comes in. Okay, so for that we're gonna do is check mean, temperature, maximum, temperature minimum. Okay, so instead of using this static HTML that we did, we're gonna comment this out and make this dynamically with our JavaScript. Okay, let me grab that this weather forecast div. Okay, let is equal to document dot query selector and I'm gonna target the class which is weather forecast. Okay, so we got this, and now we have to do is create another div, the inside div. Now notice I give them date dash 1 date dash 2. We're gonna make that dynamically without JavaScript. We're gonna say let div is equal to document dot get document dot create element, and say div. We're gonna create a div and go after this, and then I'm gonna add a class div dot add div dot class list dot add, and the class list, you notice every div has one number increase, so we're gonna get that from our whatever we are on the I side. Okay, so we're gonna say weather forecast d dash, and we're gonna increase by I dash 8 plus 1, like that. So what would happen? So at first position, 0 plus 8, 0 divided by 8, 0 plus 1 is going to be first, and then 0 plus 8 is going to be 8, 8 plus 1, 8 divided by 8 is going to be 1, 1 plus 1 2. So like that it would work, like that 1 2 3, and it would automatically become a new class. So and then we're gonna append everything in that div, the inside thing, the h3 image and p thing. So we're gonna append this to our this div. We're gonna say div dot inner html, and say we're gonna use template literals, so we can add our whole code inside of that. So we're gonna start from h3 and close that h3, and then say dollar whatever our day is. Okay, so we already got our day. We're gonna display that day in our h3 dynamically for every day, and then we need an image, and the image is we're gonna be grabbing from the icons, but you see they have sun, thunderstorm, every image, but we're gonna grab that and replace that dynamically with weather. You see weather dot main has its name. Okay, so we're gonna say image icons slash dollar. So we are making the URL dynamic right now. Data dot list into I, whatever I comes in, dot weather into 0, and at the end, because our extension of every image is dot svg, and at the end we're gonna say dot svg, and then alt is gonna be whatever the name was there. Close that div. Let's check it. Run this, allow this. Okay, we didn't appended this div to our weather forecast, so we need to do that as well. We need to say weather forecast dot append child this div, whatever our new div is. Okay, and then refresh that again so it can be added to that div. It's still not showing. Why? What's the issue? We grabbed our weather forecast. Console log weather forecast. Weather forecast is null. Okay, something issue over here. Weather forecast. Okay, I misspelled over here. Forecast spelling. Forecast. Okay, my bad. And then let's check it now. It should work, I think. Yes, now we added the day name, and the alt is showing but the image is not showing. It is clouds, then it has rain, but the images are not showing. Let's check why they are not showing. Let me, it should be .mean. .mean, it should be mean, okay. So if I console that thing, we're not cutting. Let's console this thing, let console log this thing .mean, allow this. It appears the first letter of every clouds or rain is capital, and in our image it is lowercase, so we need to make it lowercase. So we're gonna say dot to lower case. Okay, so now it should work. You see clouds, and now it is raining. The last thing we need to add was this max temperature and the mean temperature. So temp max, okay, temp max mean dot temp underscore max, and we're gonna convert that into Celsius, say -273, and make it fixed. So we're gonna say to fixed to no decimals, so there would be no decimals, and we're gonna say degrees, then $$ data.list into I dot mean dot temp underscore min -273 to fixed zero, and like that. Okay, it should work now. Let's run it again. Holy moly, it's working. 1540, max temperature is 15, min temperature is 14, and for the others it is same mix and min, and all of our application is now working fine. And that's it. Hopefully you enjoyed the video. Be sure to subscribe the channel for more interesting videos, and I will see you next time.